shirt today. That's pretty good.
I'd like to give a shout out to Andy Reid with the Missouri themed Hawaiian shirt that I think hopefully has as much good luck for us as it did them. And
all right, Coach, if you want to start us off maybe with a quick opening statement on what your team's doing, and then we can kind of get into questions. So, Coach, if you want to just take it away.
Yeah, due to NCAA rules, I'm not sure exactly what my team's doing. We're open for voluntary workouts, and assume that's going great. Due to NCAA rules, I'm not allowed to ask and get updates other than training room updates. But I'm glad our guys are back. You know, obviously we've got an unbelievable facility, and for them to be able to use it is awesome. And yeah, with that, I'll open it up for questions and let you boys have at it.
First one comes from Clint. Go ahead, Clint.
Clint, you're on mute.
Clint, yep.
Rookie mistake there. Love the shirt, Coach. Want to start off, talk a little football with you, if that's okay. Got to ask about the quarterback situation here going into this year. Connor Bazelak coming off a knee injury, and then Sean Robinson transfer from TCU. Just kind of assess those two guys, kind of what you've seen from them so far and what you see from them going forward.
Well, there's 5 quarterbacks involved in the quarterback race. We got Sean Robinson, we got Taylor Powell, we got Connor Bazelak, we got Brady Cook, and we have Jack Samsel. We're excited about what each one brings to the table. I've not seen Connor do anything full speed or live. He was recovering from his ACL tear in the spring, so not sure where he's at. I mean, I've been told he's full, but got no evidence of that. You know, Sean, I thought in this 3 practices did fine. Taylor Powell in 3 practices did fine. Brady Cook looked like a kid who should have been going to, you know, graduation, which is absolutely normal and expected. And Jack was learning the offense too. So that to me is probably the biggest question mark on our football team right now. And not a lot of answers for you on June 17th. Happy birthday, Anna Drinkwitz, my sister today. But not a lot of answers for you there, and won't have any until we get our hands on them and do things, which hopefully starts August 6th, you know, being able to do some live stuff where I can see him actually compete for the job. Sorry
right,
about
guys.
that, but that's all I got for you. My shirt's better than that answer, I know.
Next question, guys, comes from Parker. Parker, don't forget to unmute your line.
Yep, I got it. Thanks for joining us, Coach. Appreciate it. I know really you can't speak to a lot of stuff right now. We're kind of limited, obviously, but Georgia came out earlier this week with their plans to really in every kind of scenario to come with whether fans will be allowed in attendance. I know we haven't made a decision yet, but have you guys been preparing for really any possible scenario in that aspect?
I'm not aware of what Georgia came up with or didn't say, and I'm not in any conversations regarding fans' attendance or anything like that. That's not my realm of expertise. That I defer to our president, chancellor, MU Health, Jim Sturk, Tony Workus, Nick Jose, our repopulation committee. A lot of different people besides me. I'm a football coach, so I don't have any input on that, Parker. And I'm not trying to be a smart aleck about it. I have no idea what they said or didn't say, and I've just tried to be narrowly focused on what we're doing. I don't know if y'all noticed, I moved my screen on our head coach's call. Commissioner Sankey noticed that the first word on that last line said ass, so I had to move it so it would actually say class, so it's not distracting. Noticed I had made that mistake again, so shout out Commissioner Sankey.
Real quick,
Whoa, 2 questions? Whoa.
Yeah, 2 questions. I know. I'm sorry. I'm really pushing you here. But I know, you know, the Florida athletic director, they came out and said, like, you obviously can't predict anything. We don't have a crystal ball or anything. It's just kind of prepare for everything. I mean, what kind of motivation is it going into the season from a football coach perspective to just prepare your players for any possible scenario?
I don't think you can do that. I think the human capacity and limits of focus, you chase 2 rabbits, you'll catch none. I don't think we can possibly prepare for every scenario with COVID right now. I think what we have to do is take one day at a time and try to do what we're supposed to do to be as successful as we can be today. And we will figure out those problems as they arise. Now I don't know how, if there's fans or not fans, when we fly down to Gainesville is going to matter to our football team in June. It doesn't matter. So we'll figure that out when we fly down to Gainesville. Right now, everything I've been told and the direction I've been given from not only our athletic director, but our commissioner of our league is that we're planning on playing September 5th. And that's my mindset. Until something changes, they give us, that hopefully, I think it's this week or whatever, the NCAA adopts the Football Oversight Committee, which is going to change some of the walkthrough and mandatory rules. And I have a plan for that, but I don't have a contingency for every other thing that could be possible. We'll just take it as it comes.
Yep. All right. Thanks, Coach.
There's just so many unlimited possibilities, Parker, and I shouldn't do this. This is like against any media training you have as a head coach, but there's just so many unlimited possibilities. I mean, nobody's discussed whether or not if somebody tests positives, or there's no the issue right now is there's no at least in some of the other sports that are coming back, there's a universal rule for the whole thing. Like basketball has released it. There's not that yet. So I can't tell you. I don't know. I don't know if we're going to handle testing and repopulation and testing each week differently than everybody else. And I think we're all kind of waiting on what becomes the accuracy of the testing and what's the best practice. And I don't know that on June we know that. I think we know a lot more on June 17th. Shout out Anna Drinkwitz, happy birthday, than we did on March 17th. And so I think they're hoping that in 4 more weeks we have more information and maybe we can make more accurate decisions. But I don't know. Again, I'm not a doctor. I've been staying at my house, not nearly as many Holiday Inns. I've lost all my Holiday Inn points, so my intelligence level's gone down.
All right. Sorry. Next question comes from Seren Petro. Go ahead, Seren. Don't forget to unmute yourself.
Yes, sir. Coach, thanks for the time. And on the shirt, right, the shout out to Coach Reed. Much appreciated here on the Kansas City side of things. But you obviously put some thought into that. Right? yeah, I see it. He'd love it. You put some thought into what you put on, right? You knew that there could be a reaction. Obviously, shirts have been a subject matter with coaches.
You like hard questions. So you like hard questions. Keep going. I like where this is going.
You like how I kind of backdoored it, though, using Coach Reed?
Last week, too.
Yeah, sneak up on you. But listen, right, you're a public figure. You represent the whole university. You represent your team, your players. Do you get up? Like, how much thought went into that shirt, and how likely is it that coaches either, if they don't think about what a shirt could mean to somebody, is it that, if you're a successful Power 5 coach, I mean, you've got a lot of juice, right? You got a lot of juice around the state, around the university. Do you just kind of forget to think about what things can happen in that mold? Like, how does that happen? You put the thought into it today. How do people not, coaches in your spot not take the time to think about what might be perceived by what they're doing?
All right, I'm going to break this down into 2 questions, okay. And I'm going to not try to get myself in a lot of trouble here. Okay. But that's what you're asking. You're trying to get me in trouble. So,
no, I named no names, Coach. There were no names. I'm talking a hypothetical situation.
Number one, this shirt was awesome. So it didn't take any thought process to put this shirt on because it's got flamingos, Hawaii. I've gained quite a bit of weight during COVID. A full button-up shirt loves to hide the weight. You can't see it as well. So this was like zero risk. I think, and I'm not defending anybody's choice of shirts. Okay, but I am going to defend head coaches in this manner. We are taking private time. These guys are getting pictures taken by fans out on vacation time or on their own. How many of y'all go to a lake and think about what shirt you put on at a lake or at what shirt you're going to put on? Now, do you have to be aware? Yes, you do. I'm not defending Dabo Swinney's shirt, but I received that same football shirt, Football Matters, as the head coach at Appalachian State. That was an initiative by the National Football Foundation, okay? I didn't wear it because it was cotton, and I didn't want to wear a cotton T-shirt. But I mean, he's on vacation. He just happens to take a picture with somebody, and I'm not sure. Now, I'll answer the question in this. I'm a lot more aware now of everything I do than I ever have been in the past, and hypersensitive to anything that I may potentially say. Like even every question y'all are asking, I'm thinking right now prior to what I say about what I say, what's my response. And yes, I guess now too, I'm wearing, I'm worried about what my shirt choices are. I mean, I don't know if you can go to an ugly Christmas sweater party anymore as a head football coach. I'm dead serious. I don't know that. And wear one.
As a totally unrelated one, but while I'm unmuted, from a football standpoint, can you tell me, this one will be easier, right? Can you tell me what your recruiting philosophy is? We've heard at Mizzou, we know, when they were in the Big 12, it was a big focus to get down into Texas. When the move came to the SEC, they immediately tried to uproot and go into the Southeast, Florida, Georgia, South Carolina. Then there seemed to be a shift back. No, we got to get back into Texas. We got to get back to our roots. What's your just overall philosophy about where it is? I know everybody wants to fence in the local kids, and it starts there. But when you expand out, how do you expand out from beyond Missouri?
Yeah, and I do want to make sure I state this so this is clear. I am by no way defending the shirt choice of either Coach Gundy or Coach Sweeney. By no means am I saying that I would have worn any of those shirts. I do not condone any of those. Don't condone OAN News or anything like that. I don't even know the letters. Okay, so I do want to be clear on that. I'm not defending that shirt choice at all. I think the easiest way to answer that question is the fact that there is not an identity in the recruiting in Mizzou is what makes us have to become very matter of fact of where we recruit. And as always, it starts within our state. We have 2 large metropolitan areas, and then we have rural Missouri, and we have to identify any good player that we feel like can help us win the SEC East. And then outside of that, we take about a 450-mile circle and draw a circle and say, okay, who in those guys can play? I mean, there was a study done. We have 4 schools within 450 miles that are the top 20 of NFL producers, okay, NFL producing high schools. And so we know those schools. We make sure we attack those schools. And then you look at the direct flights from Columbia, which is Dallas, Denver, and Chicago. That makes it an easy, accessible trip. And so we're going to attack that area also with direct flights. Obviously, that gets us into that Texas area. We don't want to overextend ourselves. We don't want to get into battles that we may not be able to win down specifically in the Southeast. And I know I can't tell, where everybody else is going to recruit, but I do think Mizzou has an opportunity to recruit in the Midwest with the SEC logo and be successful. And that's the approach that we're going to take. Now, at the same time, we are in the middle of the middle, and I can get to anywhere in the country. If there's a connection to Mizzou and the SEC and somebody's lifelong dream is to be a Mizzou Tiger, which is a heck of a dream and awesome, then we will make way for them to recruit. We do have the ability to get to where we need to go, and there is a commitment from our administration to recruit great players wherever we need to. But for us, it starts with our state, 450 miles, and then the direct flights, and then we'll go from there as needed.
All right, next question comes from Adam Cole. Adam, go ahead.
Hey, Coach. Thanks for joining us. Was just kind of curious. We've known that the policy to this point for players to speak to with the media is that quarterbacks and newcomers can't speak with us. I was just kind of curious what went into that policy and what's, I guess, kind of the timetable for those players to be able to speak with us.
Yeah, I mean, I guess my question is what valuable information are they going to give you? You're going to ask them about who's going to be the starting quarterback, and they have no idea because they have no frame of reference. They've not worked with me. They have no idea. There's no open competition. And so in my opinion, the information you're trying to get from us is not going to be anything other than hypotheticals, which tend to lead to more hypotheticals and more information out there that needs to get, and it can create an unnecessary problem. And so, that's just the policy. I've been around that policy. I felt like it was a very successful policy. Again, newcomers, we're learning every day, just the way things are approached. Obviously, they have Twitter. They have a voice they can speak. If there's something that they feel adamant about, they want to speak about, that's what they have Twitter for. But, to have direct questions that may or may not always have the best intentions at heart may be And let's just be honest, sometimes different questions are asked in a different way to try to get a different response. And so some guys aren't as ready for that, and they're not as keen on what the responses need to be or how to think through a response. And media is unforgiving. This day and age, it's recorded, and the first thing that is said that's controversial, they'll put out in the headline just like that. And whether or not it's a media-driven deal or if it's a social media deal with a picture, it turns into a national story. And so our job is to protect people. My job is to protect people. And you put something out there, it could cost you for a long time. And so that's the policy. That's why it's I think it's a good policy.
Can I ask real quick too, is it going to be generally just sort of case by case, or, I mean, are guys going to have at least a semester under their belt, or
true freshmen?
Just generally, like,
Who are you talking about specifically, Adam, that I will not let you interview? Is that what you want?
No, it's just, I'm just generally asking on the policy. I mean, is there a timetable for these guys to when they're able to speak with us, or is it?
Yeah, when they play and contribute significantly to the Missouri Tiger football team, and our fans need to be able to ask questions and identify with them, I'll open it up for them. But until then, until they've proven something, true freshmen don't. Damon Hazleton doesn't even have a number yet. We haven't even assigned him a number because he hasn't earned his way onto our. He hasn't made the contributions yet to deserve what we feel like is that. So we're still working on making our contributions known to a team. There's still got to be some sort of earn your way, right? Nothing's given, everything's earned. So yeah, once they make a significant contribution to our football team in a manner that we feel like is relevant, that the fans need to be able to ask and get information on, great. Just to satisfy a question about what we think the quarterback competition is based off summer workouts that may or may not have any degree of, anyway.
All right, let's get back to some football questions, guys. Peter Vaughn.
Ask whatever you want. This don't bother me a bit. I love it, man. You wear a shirt like this, the last thing you're worried about is whether or not Adam's upset because I'm not letting him talk about a freshman. Good, I'm good.
All right, Peter, go ahead.
Yeah, I was wondering what made DJ Smith someone that you wanted to bring over from Appalachian State, and what can he do as a recruiter that is effective?
DJ Smith is an outstanding person, got high character. He's a great father. He was an outstanding staff member, developer of talent, has played 3-time All-American at App State, NFL player, got great connections, and is a relationship builder, teacher. So there you go.
Mm-hmm. And he also worked with Akeem at App State, who obviously had a successful season and is with the Bengals now. What ways did you kind of see him help Akeem last year?
Akeem is an outstanding football player and somebody that I'm excited about his future. But Akeem, when you hear him speak about it, we'll talk about how Coach Smith helped him mature. And not only did he help him mature as a person, as a man, he helped him grow up on the football field and helped him prepare to learn multiple positions, learn how to attack edges and defenses or attack and how he fit in the scheme. So.
Thank you.
Next question from Gabe DeArmond.
Gabe, nice.
Hey,
what you're doing with the MU journalist deal. I love that. That's awesome.
Thanks, man. I appreciate it. It's going well. Good response so far. As long as everybody's asking 2 questions, I'm going to ask 2, but I promise the first one's a quick answer. A lot of places across the country are having kids sign, whether they're called waivers or whatever. Did your kids need to sign anything to come back and work out?
Not to my knowledge.
Okay. And then what have you told these guys? Because everybody's concerned about them coming back, and everybody said, hey, they're safer working out here than anywhere else. But what did you tell them about their time that, the 21 hours a day that they're not in your facility, and just kind of educating them on what you'd like them to do to stay safe and to keep other people safe around them?
This is again, such a tricky conversation, such a tricky subject, such a unknown, right? I mean, COVID-19 has been around, depending on who you believe, since October or November or whenever the World Health Organization, I don't know if we've defunded them or if we still believe their information, I don't know. But it's been around less than a year. And so we're getting new information every day about it. As coaches, we're learning new stuff every single day. What I've advised our football team is to take this as an extreme threat, that they need to practice safe social distancing. The way we enter our building, the way we operate in our building is 6 feet separation and no closer than 6 feet for more than 15 minutes. And if you do, you have to have a mask on. And that's hard to do in a workout, but we figured out how to do that in a workout. We figured out how to do that in running. We figured out how to do that in the locker room. We've put extreme thought and caution into that aspect of it. And we've asked them to do the same thing on a daily basis. Now, this is voluntary, which makes it even more difficult, which, again, I don't know how you sign pledges on taking a voluntary workout, but, I didn't look into it that hard. So it's voluntary. I mean, I can't restrict what they're doing the other 21 hours, and they're 18 to 22-year-old young men. And you're obviously not 22 years old, but back in the day when you were 22, I mean, could somebody tell you that, what you can and can't do? It's hard. It's hard. And we're learning more now than ever, contact tracing. It's an interesting deal now. I'm just telling you. So I don't have a great answer for you other than I've asked them to accept the responsibility that this isn't a threat, and it's imperative that they do everything possible. And you can do everything right and still get COVID-19, guys. You can do everything right and still get COVID-19. I was in Walmart the other day, had my mask on, and I'm checking out, and the person behind me clearly violates my 6 feet of personal space. I got no idea. So, I mean, you got no clue. I put my hand on the deal. I mean, who knows if somebody sneezed on it? And I mean, I don't know. So we can do everything right, and we can sit here and act like we're putting these. You can do everything right and still get COVID-19. So I don't know what the answer is other than we're doing everything we possibly can. We've asked them to. But if somebody gets it, they get it. And we have MU Health, and we're going to do everything we can for them. We're going to take care of them. We've talked to we've had parent meetings and clearly communicated how much we're going to put into this. But again, you can do everything right and still get it. And I don't know what the answer is.
All right, next one comes from Eric Blum. Try and limit it to one, guys. We got a lot of guys who haven't asked stuff yet. So,
hey, Coach, thanks for doing this as always. Just from your perspective, what is your job? Kind of just managing everybody on the team. I know I don't have direct access to them right now, but it's just managing everybody and getting whatever you think is a positive message out there, and kind of being the CEO of the football program, ever present right now more than it ever has been, no matter where you've been or what role you've held. Just make sure you kind of have guys in check of making sure they're doing the right things.
I think leadership's always been about setting the tone and holding accountability and discipline to your team, but setting the standard expectations. And now more than ever, I think that's always been, whether you're the CEO of a company, an organization, head coach of a football team, little league team, 7th grade team, you've got to set the standard expectations. And then whatever those standards and expectations are, you got to hold people accountable to them. And if you don't, then you don't have any type of culture or success.
all right, next one comes from Dave Matter. Dave, go ahead.
Hey, Eli, football question for you. What's that?
Back from furlough.
I'm back for now. We'll see. Football question for you. I think we're talking to Larry Roundtree today. I know you only saw 3 practices, but knowing he's been a 1,200-yard rusher in this league, what can he mean? How can he fit into and be a part of your offense, your scheme?
Been very successful with running backs the last 6 years, whether head coach, offensive coordinator. I think we currently have 5. I've had 5 former players drafted at the running back position. So obviously know the importance of that position and what it means and how it balances, especially for a new quarterback, that he doesn't have to feel like every play he has to be 100% right. He can turn around, hand it off to the tailback, and he can get you yards. The thing I like about Larry is he's a tough runner. He's physical. He's got good vision. But he can get you an extra 2, even when the offensive line doesn't block it for that extra 2. And he's got great leadership capabilities. He's very smart, and he's somebody that everybody listens to and respects because of what you said, Dave, which is he's got contribution in this league. And so, he's going to have to be him along with Tyler Beatty. Very excited about those guys. Have got to be a big combination for us offensively in order to score points.
Next one comes from Sweetie. Go ahead.
Hey Eli, yeah, another football question. I guess how difficult is it kind of, tuning your offense when you don't know if you're going to have more of a guy who's maybe mobile versus somebody who's going to be more of a pocket passer? And I guess how does that change the offense a little bit?
Yeah, I mean that's the biggest question is I don't necessarily know if it's based on the player, but it's, do you, because of the limited practice, go more to a quarterback run game offense and more of a, quarterback, run game, extra number in the hat, maybe Micah Wilson at quarterback some in Wildcat, or Jalen Knox in Wildcat, just to try to create an extra number, because that's the stuff that's easier to do without excessive practice and execution? Or do you try to stick to what you've done in the past? I think for us, that's a question that the offensive staff has to answer, and we got to figure that out. I don't think there's an easy answer on that, because the pass game involves timing and execution. Our offense, offense by football by nature is timing and execution. And do we have enough time to put together a product that's going to be successful in a limited number of 25 practices for fall camp? I don't know. And that is not necessarily fair to the quarterback room, but life's not fair. And so we've got to Mizzou, our goal is to win the SEC East. And so whatever it's going to take to win those football games is what we have to do as an organization. And I don't know. I think you're on to the right question, though, because that is the question that keeps me up at night. And yeah, that's the question that keeps me up at night. So
Next one comes from Mitchell 40. Mitch, go ahead.
Hey, Eli. I wanted to circle back to something you said a little bit earlier. You said, you want players to be able to have that Twitter account to touch on things specifically. I'm curious, given that you want them to have that platform, how important it is to you to make sure the staff's communicating with them, and to make sure that, and what you all do to make sure they know that they can come to you all and discuss things with you all, maybe instead of just going straight to Twitter.
I mean, somebody on here said yesterday, freedom of speech doesn't mean freedom of consequence. I tell them that all the time. And the problem with social media is it's used in so many different platforms. It's used as a journal and a diary of the millennials and Zoom generation use it as like a diary of their life. And I'm having cereal for lunch, or blah, 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 blah. And then next thing you know, it's something really serious. And so I don't know. Nope. Social media is a new experiment for everybody. I think it's an extreme challenge, especially in this day and age where you can put something on social media and immediately it's retweeted by people who have millions of followers and turns into a national story. And then you can put out a 1-minute video and it's over. So I don't know what the answer is, other than we try to educate them on freedom of speech does not mean freedom of consequence. And think about what you tweet now. In 5 years, will you feel the same about it? Is it going to stand the test of time on a tweet?
Next one comes from Nate Edwards. Nate, go ahead.
Hey, Coach. 16 of the past 20 defensive backs that Missouri has recruited have been over 6 feet, and every defensive back that you have recruited so far has also been over 6 feet. So clearly, there is a type that the defensive staff likes. When you are evaluating defensive back recruits, is that something that weeds out some of the shorter ones? And what schematic advantage do you see from a taller corner or a taller defensive back?
Yeah, I mean, length's important in this position. Obviously, at the DB position, transitional speed is just as important. They stop and start a lot, so you got to find length and transition speed. Obviously, the game's getting longer. Wide receivers are getting bigger, and so the windows are a lot smaller with length at the DB position, and that's really what we like. I love the fact that we have the statistics and clearly know who and what we're looking for. But yeah, I mean, a long defensive back with length knocks the ball down, can reach up higher, and then in zone coverage, more space taken up. So harder for the quarterback to be accurate.
All right, Andrew Kaufman. Andrew, go ahead.
Hey, Coach, just real quick, is that shirt for sale anywhere for fans?
I don't know. I don't know. You know what? I bet if we get an online petition, we could find somebody that wants to make it.
How'd you make it? Is it?
I don't know. Somebody got. So I saw it. In all full disclosure, I saw it. I sent a picture to Mike, our equipment manager, And within about 10 days, it was in my office. And I've been waiting for the right moment with a group of my closest friends that I could demonstrate it to everybody.
Yeah, well, we appreciate that. But I also want to ask about Daniel Parker. I know we were supposed to talk to him, but hopefully we'll get to talk to him soon. His story, we saw him tweet out everything that he went through. You were just joining the staff, and I'm sure all this was happening pretty fast, but the fact that he's able to recover after seems like a pretty scary incident, what do you think of his recovery, I guess?
Remarkable, miracle, blessing, incredible story. Just thankful. He's put a lot of work into it, a lot of prayer. I know it's been a lot of not good times. He's had to practice mental toughness. He's had to really work and had to face some scary situations of possibly not playing this game anymore, and fighting through it and staying positive and trusting and believing the best. And, I don't know if how much of the story y'all do know, but, Coach Woods on one of the snowstorms was involved in an accident and hiked almost a mile to catch a ride, and then end up at Daniel Parker's hospital when this thing was going through this whole thing. And so it's been something that we've dealt with since January, and really proud of Coach Woods and his commitment to our players and team, and Owen Stanley, our trainer, and everybody. But Daniel's a remarkable young man. I look forward to the future with him, and proud of him.
All right, we'll do one more from Colin, and then we'll let Coach go. So, Colin, you haven't gotten a chance to ask. So go
Colin,
ahead.
it better be a good stinking question, too.
Well, I was going to say, touching on Coach Woods and that relationship with Daniel, and recruiting is all about relationships. But I was curious if, how he's managed the recruiting push during this time when there really isn't a manual on how to handle it. If it's even been that different, because relationships are at the core of what you're doing.
I mean, obviously, relationships matter, and recruiting is the lifeblood of your program. And that was the number one reason that the first person I hired was Casey Woods. I have a relationship with him. I've seen his work ethic and the way he's built his career. I've seen, how he handled recruiting for Auburn as the director of player personnel, how he was instrumental in helping UAB build a roster from scratch. So he has a technical ability to understand math and recruiting, but then he also has the ability to relate and understand. I mean, Casey played at the University of Tennessee, and so he understands locker rooms. He moved around as a coach's son and understands the business. And then obviously forged a relationship with a guy that can wear, has glasses and a dorky shirt, and we've still been able to maintain contact. He is also the unrecognized leader of the camaraderie committee on our football staff, and he leads all of our social events. Him and his wife Lauren do an outstanding job of just building togetherness and unity. So all of those combinations help us with the recruiting part. And then the unknown part, I mean, he's a problem solver. That's again what we look for. It's not preference versus performance. I mean, he understands that we're just trying to find the best performance. And the thing about our relationship is we go, we were GAs together, and I mean, I've only been yelled at, several times. And one of them was when Casey Woods was yelling at me because I was running the scout team defense wrong, so we have that relationship that we can go back and forth with each other, but trust that we have each other's best interest at heart, which goes back to our core value of trust and respect. So I think a lot of Casey and Coach Woods, and excited that he's here with us, and really just blessed that he is, and he's done an outstanding job, and it showed with our recruiting. We got to pick it up a little bit. We haven't had a commitment in, I don't know, 7-8 days, so we're behind the 8 ball right now, but we're gonna get to work on that.
How'd I do? Was that a good question?
Yeah, it's fair. It's fair. It's I think Adam in Soren. Is it Soren?
Soren. Yep.
Had the
Soren.
best. Soren had the most trapping type questions today. Which I thought fair enough. fair enough. I thought Clint led me off with a softball. I easily deflected that with the Bill Belichick school of not answering questions directly. I'm sure Kaufman's going to take this and do something weird with it and try to splice it and dice it up.
Oh, you know that's going on Twitter.
Which part? The splicing and dicing?
Definitely. That is.
I'll figure something out. I'll have to figure something out
as soon as this is done.
But at the end of the day, I want to say I appreciate the opportunity to be on with the media. I appreciate the push by Gabe to promote social justice and awareness. I think that's an honorable trait and an awesome thing, and I'm behind you, Gabe, on that. And look forward to being a part of that and helping there. All right. And with that being said, I'll see y'all in a couple of weeks, and I'm going to find an even cooler at shirt or something. We'll do something else. I'm getting blown. I'm getting text. I think this shirt with red hair, long red hair, like Karen in the SEC things, might even be pretty good too. So y'all have a good one. I'm out. Dave.
Thanks, Coach.
See y'all.
Thank you, Coach.
I think Casey Woods jumped on here, guys. So
Casey's on here? Casey,
I'm here.
You got a shirt on?
I've got a shirt on. I wrecked my wife's car, and I had to drop it by the GMC Chevrolet dealership. And I was hoping I wouldn't get caught having to confess for that, but here I am.
Were you wearing this cool shirt?
I was not ever wearing